Good afternoon, students. Today we'll be starting with the help of business management. We'll be going with the help of two chapters today, with the help of managerial decision making. Second, with the help of business communication. So, like previously on the last lecture, we have discussed about the different zone of how business into the business. We learn with the help of different types of zone. We learn with the help of how the functions are being motivated because you are into that kind of business. So like when you're setting up with any kind of business, so on that time those functions, those managements you need to follow, and with the help of that management you are performing those duties and responsibilities. Now usually as you people would be aware that when you are into the organization you need to take those decisions. So with the help of that decision, a managerial decisions, which is sometimes are acceptable, which is sometimes are not acceptable. So today we'll be having with the help of two chapters today. First we'll be moving with the help of managerial decision. Second with the help of communication. Because what first you'll be moving into decision, because into each and every business you require the decision makers. The manager should understand, the manager should ready to explain each and every term. So with the help of explanation, the thing is what my decisions can be moved properly into the proper way of direction. So that is why the bit of summary, like what other points will be moving, will be going into that types of decision making. Why the thing is decision making is important as a manager he needs to take. We'll be even going with the help of a group discussion, because what the group discussion is also a very helpful matter where you can take a proper way of decision, and then afterwards with the help of this you can you can complete the set of goals of an organization. Because what in each and every organization we know it, like they are having the objectives. So to complete that objectives, you require this proper decision making, as we have already said, planning, organizing, directing, controlling and staffing, because this is the basic elements of my management. To complete that type of management, I require to take a proper way of decision, because till the time my decisions won't be proper, if I won't be getting a proper way of the people to cope up with it or to get a certain valuable decisions from the people, till the time I don't use certain techniques, and with the help of the techniques I'll be getting a new information. So that is important for me to take a managerial, to take a proper way of decision into the organization. So nowadays into the organization, managers should take a proper decision whenever, when you're recruiting any kind of person, whenever you want to develop certain kind of new strategies into the organization, whenever you need to develop any kind of important plans. So that is why this type of decision making is important, because meanwhile if you don't have a proper decision making, so it creates a negative impact for the people also to run the organization. So in this we will be also going with the help of different type of group. What are group discussion? Even you'll be getting a clear cut idea where when you're sitting for any kind of it, if you want to take important decision where 6 to 7 people sits together, a manager is sitting, and with the help of this they'll be having those discussion, and with the help of discussion, because all views are different, so you're into this will be also being a connection where you will be showing with the help of human behaviors connection also, because humans are there, they're all thoughts, perceptions, views, okay, all the things have been different. So that is why the thing is the matters will be there discussed, and on that type of matters, once it will be discussed, on that time they'll be having each and every interactions among each and every people. So that is why, and after finally we can take a proper way of corrective decision where we need to take it. So like we can even say if we want to travel somewhere, so like each and every people come together, they gather together, we ask certain place, if we are planning to move certain place, like different place, if you are planning to go to the any kind of zoo or any kind of park or any beach side. So like all the people will sit together, they plan like which place will be relevant for us, convenient for us to travel. So that is the most important way, because then only the decision making can be done, because directly you can't pass out any decision into the organization. You need to have each and every people should come together, they need to have a proper way of equal distributions, and they need to give equal priorities to each and every people, and then after they get a proper way of decision. So it becomes a very challenging where a management and a management and the manager who is competing together, and with the help of this is the first, and where you are having the mutual relationships amongst each and every people, because the thing is you need to have a contact between each and every people, you need to have an interaction between each and every people, and then after finally you're completing out whatever the strategies are there, whatever the scope are there, and with the help of using different type of techniques you get experience. Because till the time you don't sit with the group, you don't analyze what is going on. So here we will be having the both the needs where you need to fulfill out, because whenever your decision making comes, you need to think about the current and even you need to think about the future, because till the time if you don't forecast for the future, so ultimately the thing is my decision making is not proper. Whenever if I want to recruit to any kind of employee or recruit any kind of labor, so previously I need to think about it whether it's valuable or not, whether this person is competent to my organization or not, and whatever the decision if I'm taking to keep that person, so that is valuable or not, that will be for the future. So that is why I need to take a proper way of decision. This was a bit of the summary. We'll be moving into the internal concepts. On that time you will be able to understand what is how the decision making is very tough, and how with the help of the toughness, with the help of stress, with the help of like a human, where you're using your certain techniques, and with the help of the techniques the problems are being solved in the particular period of time. Next, the chapter, it is what business communication. Nowadays communication is most important, because wherever if you go, till the time if you don't have a proper way of communication, certain means all the people know English, but how to use that English, how to what are the things of English it is to be done, how to communicate with the people, because nowadays like the respect is not there when we communicate with anyone. The people doesn't know to perform a formal and informal way of communication, because like whenever you are into the communication part, usually when you are into the business, you need to have the professionalism. So meanwhile, if you don't have any kind of professionalism, you cannot survive into industry. So that is the most important priority, where you are into certain part of its zone, where you should have a proper way of business communication amongst each and every people. And with the help of this, you should have the presentation skills. Like whenever you're representing any organization or representing any kind of data relating to any kind of people, so on that time also the thing is what, when you're visualizing. So like into this chapter you will be also saying about it, how you're preparing a data, how you're formatting each and every data. Usually we use the presentation, PPT presentation. So what kind of PPT presentation you can present, because when you're presenting this type of it, so on that time how you have the contact between each and every people into the organization, because the communication is a part of a business management, because without the communication your total management is incomplete, because each and every zone you need to see it out. So that is why a communication is a bit of part. So with the help of this bit of part, the thing is you need to have the interaction between each and every people. I have kept certain charts, certain diagrams, so at least it will be relevant for you to understand what is moving into the internal part. Okay, so now we'll be first seeing about it. Okay, the importance, or the thing is what you mean by managerial decision. Now first I'll go with the help of point wise. Now see, management into the decision making. The management decision making is a complex mixture of knowledge, where I said to you previously, knowledge, experience, creative thinking and risk taking. It's oftenly a rapid fire fragmented process. So like you can see it out to the first point, where when a management needs to take any kind of decision making, so it's a one type of a rapid fire type. You get an experience, you get a techniques, you understand each and everything, and finally with this the thing is what, you understand how the people are, because what simple, when also if you want to take an important decision, so it is a risk whether it goes into the positive, whether it goes into the negative. So on that time the person should be ready. The person should be ready whenever if you are taking any kind of decision. So simple, it happens into the organization also, wherever you survive into certain part of industry. If you want to survive, you need to do this work, you need to take this type of risk. If you don't want to, so ultimately you let go. But it should be a proper way of decision making. Just think two, three times, that what I'm doing, or else consult to the certain person that as if I'm doing this thing, does it is valuable, does it is proper or not, and if it is not, so ultimately we ask for it. Simple, it is a simple logic, where if a person or if a child want to have a certain decision, so he or she asks to his parents. Why he asks to his parents? Because he has certain confusion in his brain, whether I want to do the study, and if I'm doing a study, I don't know which field I need to go, because I have each and every field, and each and every field I have an interest. but you are still confused from which field you are having more interest. So that is what you do. You ask to your parents, you take a guides from the parents, your parents say something else. Then this is the first part. Second part, you ask to your friends, you ask to your colleagues somewhere, and then afterwards you have that decision. And finally the thing is, whatever the decision, whichever fields you take it out, so in each and every field there is a risk. But to take that risk, okay, you need to have those knowledge relating to that side of field. Means you need to go to that college, you need to go to that institution to take those details, to take those information, you need to analyze each and everything, and finally after analyzing out, you are having each and everything, it is on the sequence. So it is a part of that person whether to go in which type of field, and once you are getting at which type of field, then afterwards you need to accept. So then afterwards it will be a decision maker, a proper decision making. Means this thing you get it out, means in each and every field you need to take a decision. And decision, whenever you're taking out, it's a risk taking. So it is like where it is something creative, something innovative, where you get like a large experience, and with the help of large experience, the thing is what you are getting a different type of scene whenever you are taking a proper way of decision. The best part, you get a proper way of experience. Like if you are taking a risk, you get a proper experience, you don't go over there. So meanwhile, if you don't go over there, the problems won't be solved. So like it is the proper way, whenever you are performing any kind of duty, it is your person to take a risk. Next, more and more companies are pushing critical decision making down to the level of organization most affected by the decision. So like usually this is a very critical where more and more companies, like when they want to take any decision, they usually fail it down, because what they think, whether this decision is okay, whether this decision is okay, because certain period of time certain people doesn't accept, certain people are tired, like certain people doesn't accept, some people accept, some people doesn't have. So for this, the thing is the barriers occurs, and with the help of the barrier, certain kind of a nuisance comes. So on that time, it becomes very difficult to cope up. So that is why whenever a management want to take a decision, so like these are the problems where it faces. First, you get it in positive thoughts where risk taking is there, you get it the experience, it's certain creativity is there. But second part, more and more companies are pushing critical decision making, because they are taking very critical decision makings to the level of organization most affected by those decisions, whatever the decisions are been taken. So like usually they are been affected, as if I said, na, some people are accepted, some people are not accepted. So that is why that is the problem. The decision can be defined as a conscious choice among the alternative followed by the action of implementing of the decision. Usually whatever the decisions are there, so it is very having the conscious, whether the people are like rudely they're performing, whether they doesn't perform properly. So that is why, and they're like you are getting an alternative follows by the action of implementation. Means there are certain people who are ready for the decision, some people are not ready for that. Some people are giving his alternative views. So like with the help of these views, the decisions are being followed. So this is the way. Next, decision making process is a series of steps that is followed either consciously or unconsciously to make a choice and undertake the action. As if I said, na, the people whenever if you want to take any decision, so like you need to take a proper type of steps. If you want to follow any kind of new rules and regulations which you want to take into your organization, which you want to implement into the organization, so the important it is what, first you put it on the sequence wise, next you put it on the proper way of series, and there each and everything should be followed by step. But it is when you are taking a step of this, so it is like you need to follow whether it is a consciously you need to see or whether you need to see unconsciously, where because then only you can take a corrective action. So that is these are the small definitions of a decision making, because usually when you take a decision making, you need to follow this thing. More I have, manager must learn how to deal with the decision making environment that emphasizes communicating, working with others and working with the incomplete information. So like a manager, whenever he takes a decision, so like he need to think about both the sides, where if I'm having the total details and what I'm taking a decision. Second, where I don't have any type of detail but still I'm taking a decision. So both the things you need to compare. So with this, the thing is the manager will be getting a proper clear-cut idea what is the proper of decisions it is being done. Then decisions are often based on impression, estimating and personal experience. So usually decisions like if a person who is having 5 years of experience into marketing or 5 years of experience into HR, so if he has been replaced from that, if he is giving the resign and finally he is taking to some other organization. So once he is going to that kind of organization, so when he is taking decision over there, so why he takes a proper decision? Why? Because the thing is the experience speaks. Meanwhile, if you don't have experience, if you are a fresher, to take a decision becomes very harsh. But when the people who are having 5 to 10 years experience becomes very smoothly, very flexibly to take a decision. So that is why an experience matter, the way of presenting method, certain period of time, the thing is certain impressions are being there, and with the help of impressing the person, the finally you get the proper way of decision. So that is what the decision usually often it is based on this type of it, like whatever the experience are being there. Like usually into the organization previously where you have worked, you have seen like number of politics are been going on. Like this people is speaking, this people is speaking, this people is like currently a certain period of time all people are like gathering together, certain time they fight, certain time they are like separated. So if this kind of zone is there, you got to know who are the people who will be helpful for me, who are the people who are not helpful for me. This is the one part. But when you switch to new type of industry, new type of organization, you got to know, you have already you got the experience, how the people are. So finally when you switch to some other industry, so what do you see? You are having your total mind, it has been said, better it is not to speak with anyone. You are my proper way of decision, it is what, if they ask certain questions relating to the work, I'll be able to answer. But meanwhile, I won't be able to communicate with the rest of whatever the personal decisions are there, personal things are there. I won't be able to share this thing. So that is why you understand, you are getting an experience, how to cope on that time. Next, management research have developed a set of useful concepts to understand the phenomenon. So usually the management research has developed a set, means this type of set of decision making where a managers can take a proper way of decision. Individual decision making differ from the group decision making. That is really true, because usually individual, what you think, it is different. When you are sitting into the group, that makes a difference. So like you can say intercommunication, interway and intraway. Where the group of the people are communicating, you are having certain different sense of talking, or else the thing is what, if you want to take a decision when you are into the group, your answer will be different. But when you will be in the individual, you are saying something else, because what all human are there, each and every human, their thoughts are different. So that is why when we are with the people, we think something else. When we are alone, we think something else. So that is a managerial decision. This is what is there. Now, your I will be moving with the help of different types of managerial decision. Now, I am having 3 types of different type of managerial decision: programmed and non-programmed, proactive, reactive, intuitive, and systematic. So these are the 3 type of it where you can take a proper way of decisions, and where you can take a proper way of, and you can implement that decision with the help of proper risk. So means their risk are less, but the thing is this, you are, means whenever if you go to any kind of work, the risk is more, but still at least a decisions where if you want to take it out, so like you can take a proper way of decision. First we will be moving with the help of programs and non-program. Program decision is the one type of decision where it is like a daily routine, whatever the decisions if you want to take it out, like schedule wise, a daily routine work, like if you want to have those important decisions relating to any kind of meetings, every day's decision, if you want to take a simple way of decision, whatever it is going on to the regular routine life. So I can say a program decision, one type of it, regular routine life, like whatever the decision if you want to take it out, the small way of decision, whether it's a big way of decision, that you can take it. So this is one type of it, programming, where you are operating this type of decision every day into the every period of time. So that is why this program is usually, it is it's called a programming decision, where each and everything are in sequence, and I can take that this type of it use into my day-to-day life in each and every problem. So like if I want to take if I want to appoint any kind of new peon, so I can take a decision. If I want to appoint a certain kind of it for the HR person, I can appoint. But meanwhile, I need to like have both the way, the communication way, how it is there, how the systems are there into my organization, and how it has been followed. So that is why this is one type of it, like routine way decisions where you are taking out. So this is what a programmatic way. Next, here it is what pre-existing structures or a decision-making procedures is been planned. Here you need to take a careful decision, because already these are the big decisions. This is a non-programmable decision where the thing is my decisions are not given, but if I want to take a decision, I need to be a very careful way. I need to see, I need to analyze, I need to forecast, and then afterwards I can need to take a decision. So that is why this, I don't have any kind of sequence or any kind of system. It is not step by step. It is what suddenly the problems comes and I need to give those type of decisions on that time. So like this type, and these are the big decisions, where big type of decisions where to take it, where to take the decision becomes very risky. So like to pass answers, so like when I want to give the pass the sentences, so on that time I need to carefully analyze each and everything, because once if I carefully analyze each and everything, I'll be getting a proper way of answers. Next, proactive decision. This type of decisions which are already been not taken, and finally you need to take a positive way where you are getting a proper way of decision. Means you can say made in anticipated of external changes or other conditions, or can prevent many common problems. Like usually whatever the problems are there, so like to take a proper way of decisions, you can take it out. Like if you have a certain severe problem, so on that time, if whatever the decision, if you want to take, an organization needs to take or a manager needs to take, so like they can take. So like that is called my proactive decision. Reactive decisions, it is what the decisions what I took, so I need to have a bit of changes, and with the help of that changes, the thing is what I need to react according to it. So that is reactive decision. First, made is responsible to change that have already occurred, means the decision which are already passed. So that past decisions, you can take certain type of details, and with the help of details, the thing is what, if you want to react, whether you are accepting, whether if you need a bit changes, so that also you can do it. So this is a different type of it, proactive and reactive changes. Where proactive, where the thing is what, something which will be changed, means certain innovative ideas where you want to implement it out, that you can do it. Now in reactive, already the ideas have been updated, but still if you need a bit of change, means whatever the decision you have to, if you require a certain kind of changes, so that type of reactive changes also you can do it. So these are the two types of decisions, and with the help of two type of decisions, the thing is what you need to follow according to proper way of decision making. So already we have learned with the help of four types of it. First we went in the program, second non-program, proactive, reactive, next intuitive, and last it is what, a systematical way. Now when I'm going with the help of an intuitive, here I'm taking an experience of the people who are having the vast knowledge of certain period of like 15 to 10 years of experience. I'm understanding the person, means I'm taking the experience of the people, and after this, the thing is what, I'm getting a knowledge, and with the help of the knowledge, I'm taking a proper way of decision. So this is called my intuitive decision, which I'll go first. Use of estimating, guessed or hunch to decide among the alternative course of action. Now voice of experience, that speaks to the manager when facing with the decision situation. Don't rely on the intuition alone, supplement the institutions with the systematic information gathered and analyzed. So as if I already say, I take the information, and finally with the help of information, I gathered each and everything, I experienced each and everything. From the manager, I take those experience, and with the help of experience, I gather the information, I analyze that information, finally after analyzing that information, I pass the decision. So this is called an intuitive decision. Systematical decision, here the thing is my objectives are properly clear, my experience are clear, my each and everything, my future scope is also clear, my analyzation has also been clear, and finally the thing is you're passing a proper way of a decision. So your systematical way where you want to take a proper way of decisions, where if you are lacking somewhere, if you don't know something, so what you do, you have a contact with each and every people, you take those ideas, and with the help of those ideas, you complete it out, whatever the things, whatever the thoughts if you wanted, and then afterwards you take a corrective decision. So that is why this is one part of systematical decisions. So that is why with the help of this three different types of decisions, and with the help of these three type of decision making, you can perform, and whichever you feel it at, you can accept this type of it, and finally you can pass it out the decision into the organization. Now next we will be moving types, the decision making process. Now we got to know the types, we got to know what are managemental decision making, how the decisions are being taken. Next, different types also we got to know, like program, unprogrammed, then systematic and intuitive. Next, we learned with the help of proactives and reactive way. So these are the different types of these are the different type of decision making where you are getting a proper way of analyzation, proper informations are being gathered, and with this you are giving a positive attitude. Now today, next point, it is what we are going with the help of decision making process. In each and every organization, usually decision making process, it is important, because what till the time if I don't have a steps, so like I don't have a types, I don't have a steps, I won't be getting to know proper way of decision making process. So usually I'm having this different types of it process, where I'm having 5 type of process, where first clarifying the problem. When I want to take a proper way of decision, first I need to clarify the problems or an opportunity. Means I need to see the problems if they're facing, or and if the problems are there, so how I can face it out that problems. So it means I need to see about the opportunity wherever I will be getting. Develop the alternative course of action. If this is not, if whatever the points are being there, if that is not reacted, so ultimately if this is not reacted, I can take something else. If that decision is not accepted, so I can take something else. So that should be ready. Next, evaluating and select a course of or action. Whatever the decision I took, so I need to take a list of decision. Means whatever the decision I took, whatever the analyzation I have done, and finally I need to write it out. I need to list it out, and from that alternative I can use it, or else a certain period on whichever will be relevant for me, I can use that. Implement the decision, whatever the decisions are being taken, so accept that type of decision, implemented into the organization. Last, monitor its effectiveness. Means I can say you can take a review, or else like you can take a proper way of like a review, relating to a review you can ask to any kind of people, okay, and with the help of the people, the thing is what you'll be getting a proper way of decision. So that is why the thing is monitoring is most important, because then only after, means whatever the decision has been done, so does that decision is passed. So whether my decision is working properly, effectively, so for this I need to take a monitoring. So now this we have already went to the points. Now we'll be moving into the internally the concepts. Now next, first it is what clarifying the problems, as we have already seen. The problems are usually, now I'll go point wise, so at least the internal concept. We have already seen into the points where what are the main, means what you mean by this, but internal more concepts will be moving into the technical way. So at least with the help of analyzing, at least you will be recognize what are the problems, what are the process, how the process are being clarified into each and every point. So like you got the process, there are 5 type of process, and with the help of 5 type of process, the internal concept, whenever if you're moving like one process, what are the process? Now into the internal the process, how the decisions are being more relevant. First, problems are defined. Okay, first the thing is what clarify the problems or an opportunity. First, problems are defined as a realization, that is discrepancy existing between the desired state and the current reality. As if I said, now you need to have a current and whatever it has been already passed. So that 2 problems you need to take it first. So like what was there previously, why I took a decision. So before that and after that, once I got in decision, once I got in my problems. So like what are the things it is to be done. Next, several common bias or a mistake manager makes when identifying and clarifying the problem. Now usually these are my different 3 points. So usually whenever the mistakes or any kind of fighting occurs between the manager and employee, so like you need to identify the problem. Perpetual inadequacy, where you are having those problems related to internally, means a personal wise where you're having a problem. Define the problems in the term of solution, like whenever if there is a problem, so like for that, what is the solution? Like you will be getting certain like 2-3 points for this, so that should be there. Identifying the symptoms as a problem, like if you get it a proper way of medical with this problem, like whatever the problems are there, so with this what are the treatments you're getting, like what are the symptoms where you can reduce this type of problem, because what this is the process of decision. When you're passing a decision, first you need to have the proper clarification of my problems. Then considering an issues for the variety of perspectives, like whatever the issues are there, so like it will be interrelated with each other. So like where the thing is it will be interrelated, so that thing should be having the information. Consult the various perspectives before making the decision. As if I said, you need to consult a different type of people. For example, expertise if they'll be there, the people who are having the experience. So like you can go and you need to consult over there, because then only where you can solve the problem. As if for example the people who are into your organization from last 20 years or 30 years, so like whatever the problems are there, you can go and you can, at least you need to have a word with it, you need to discuss those points, because it will become more clarified and it will become more easy also to understand. So that is why this is first, it is what the clarification of problems. Next, developing alternative courses of action. As if I said, if this is not there, so some other thing will be there. Like usually as we are a human, so already all the questions answer is there. But still to get that answer, you are having so many questions, but to get that answer it becomes very difficult, because if this is won't be there, so ultimately this will be there. So like into our brain constantly the things are going on, and to take a decision, it takes a time, certain period of time, like certain period of you are overstressed, overbursted, so it becomes very difficult where to understand. So first here it is what, examine the organization internal external environment by informations and ideas that are leads to creative problems problems. Like first you need to understand, first we got a problem, second now needs to take a proper way of alternative actions, like you need to accept those decisions. So like when you want to accept those decision, you need to see about two types of environment, internal and external, means internal into the organization and external to the organization, both the type of it, because what into the organization something new which is going on, and the same into our organization external something which is new which is going on. So what are the problems are clashing together, so that problems you need to solve, you need to get that problem, and how to solve that problems with the help of like getting those ideas from internally or externally, and with the help of then ideas you can get it proper way of points. Next, a popular approaches to this is known as benchmark. Where, what do you mean by, so usually we use this type of benchmark. What is the benchmark? Identifying and studying the firm who are the leaders in given the areas of the business. So usually what you do, the business, whoever the person has been set up. So like you are identifying the problems, and with the help of these problems, the thing is you're understanding the firm, you're understanding the organization, how the people are being there. So with this, the thing is you can take a proper way of action. Managers should encourage the creativity and innovation amongst the employee, because if you want to take an alternative, this is not there, so ultimately that if it has been there, so for this the manager should have a good relationship amongst the employee, so at least the thing is the employee can think more and they'll be getting a proper way of certain kind of creativity, and with the help of creativity it will become the proper way where a process can be used with the help of proper way of decision. Encouraging a diversity of approach to the problem solving can lead to the better solutions and courses of action. Like till the time if you don't encourage to the people, if you don't like you don't have any kind of it attracted with the people, so like the thing is you won't be getting a proper way of answer. So like to get a proper way of answer, you need to encourage the people to solve those problems, because there are into the organization some people are ready to accept, some people are not ready to accept. So that is why to not ready to accept, to ready for the accept, for this you require an encouragement. A motivation comes, it should come from the manager to the employee. So at least they can take a corrective measures or corrective decisions. Next. Third, evaluate the alternative and select the courses. Like whatever the points we have learned previously, okay, we got to know how to develop the alternative course. Means you need to develop with the help of ideas, the views, and once you will be getting on, you need to evaluate. Means you need to take off recheck that you need to recheck whether the thing is what, whether my evaluation, whatever I evaluated, whatever analyzation I've done into the first step and second step, so that I need to do it on the third, so I can take a corrective measures. First, select the alternative that will be produce the most favorable outcomes and least the unfavorable come. Like whatever the positives are there, you accept that thing, and whatever the negatives are there, like you reject that thing. That is the first thing. Next, cautions should be cautions should be kept in the mind. Usually 2 points should be kept in the mind. Like whenever if you are taking an alternative decision, so that like 2 things you need to accept it at first. Keep this step distinct from the previous step, especially in the group content. Whatever the concept which was previously discussed, just keep that aside and accept the new policies, whatever you have discussed currently into the group. So that you need to evaluate. Second, beware of the solutions that are evaluated are being perfect. Whatever the solutions are being taken, So at least that solution should be perfect. It should be not messy. It should be not inflexible. It should be a proper way of flexible. Rather than being an optimist, the decision maker is said to be a satisfier, a person who accepts a reasonable alternative courses of action that is not necessarily the optimist courses of action. So usually, like, it is what a decision, whatever it should be an optimistic, where a satisfier should be there, a proper way of satisfaction should be there, whatever the decisions are being taken, and proper way of clear-cut ideas will be there. So it becomes very relevant for you at least to evaluate the proper way of alternative and selections of a course. So like we got to know problems. To cope about that problems, the second step, my third, it is whatever the problems I got it, whatever the solution I get, and from that third step, it is what I need to evaluate, which one it has been proper. So at least with this, I can use it that time. Next, implementation of selection alternative. Whatever you evaluate, whatever you thought, now next part it is what you need to implement into the organization. First, a decision is an abstraction if it is not implemented. Till the time means whatever the decisions you took, you evaluate each and everything you have done. Next part, if you are not accepting, so it shows this kind of word that is called an abstraction. That is what it is not showing a corrective way where you took a proper way of decision. Because when you are taking a decision, you need to implement. If you are not taking a decision, it is simply where you are doing time pass, where you are not accepting on. So it looks certain negative thoughts which is come, or a like negative impression it has been shown into the organization. Action must be implemented effectively. It is to achieve for an objective. Now, why we take a proper way of decisions? To get it an objective. As if we have already seen, without objectives into the organization, you cannot survive into the industry. So, like when you are into the business level, so that is why we take a proper way of corrective decision, to take a proper way of to take a proper way of to clear my proper way of objectives. Implement the decision involving delegating the responsibility to the people. Once if I got it like implementing, now if I want to implement those decisions, so for this I require the people into my organization, and with the help of the people, the thing is I need to distribute the work. So it becomes very relevant for me at least to understand the people into the organization. With this parallelly my work will be also moving fluently. Here are the 6 steps of effective delegation. Like whenever, if you're delegating those authorities, those responsibilities to the people, so on that time you need to see it out whether my all decisions all proper. Means whenever I'm passing the duties from one person to some other person, I need to see it out the 6 steps. First, define the task clear. Whatever the work it has been given, it should be proper clear. Give the guidelines to begin to follow. Like they need to get a proper way of guidance. So at least what you can use certain kind of it proper way. So at least it creates a proper way of information where I get it. Given authorities to accomplish that task, they should be getting a proper way of authorities. So at least with that authority, at least they will be completing that task. Those responsibility it has been given to them. Monitoring the task, but don't hopes. Like you just follow, but at least you see that task, what is going on, you need to analyze what is going on, you need to take a follow-up relating to the task, but don't have like what is going on, like pinpointing each and every time, so that should be avoided. Give the feedbacks along to the way, like whatever the decision it has been whatever the work it has been given, so like take the proper way of decision, because decision, and with this decision the thing is the employee get more motivated, so that thing should be there. Rewards and recognition, efforts as well as the result, as if I said now, paying the incentives. If the organization has took a proper decision, they have distributed the work to each and every people, the manager will look after each and every work properly. If the work is proper, so ultimately the thing is that person will be getting a proper way of reward. So manager is getting this type of responsibility to look after with the help of this. So this is what implementing, and finally you're getting the awards. Finally, last it is what control, assigning the consequences of an action. Usually, because once you have completed with the help of 4 steps, the 5th step it is what you need to take you have to have a control and assigning. Means in the sense you need to have a follow-up, proper way of review, like whatever it is going on. Periodically you need to take updates, what is going on. You need to analyze whether they are accepting this type of decisions or not. The first, periodical assessment on the result of choose the course of action. As if I said, the periodical assessment, like periodically, like a month wise or a year wise, a quarter wise, or else the thing is the 6 months after. So like you need to take a alternative periodically decisions, and with the help of this decision, whatever the answer it has been given, you need to take a corrective measure. Next, If actual results aren't met the planned result, change must be made. If whatever you thought, whatever the decision was took, and then afterwards that decision was placed, that what decision was implemented, but still there won't be any kind of changes. So if you want to take any kind of changes, so on that time only you can change it out if you want to be accepted. Because the thing is, till the time, if the organization, if the people are not coming at the proper time, okay, you have already said the people should come into the proper time, to this time, to this time. The morning 7 o'clock, the staff should be reaching into the organization. But the people doesn't reach at 7 o'clock, it starts at 8 o'clock. But still they said, okay, till 7:30, the decision was, as if I said, the decision when it was taken, the people have said, okay, fine, you can come till 7:30, okay, that will be like it. But still the people are not coming before 8 o'clock. So that is why the thing is that creates a very negative impact. So if there is the final it is what you need to do the changes. If there won't be any kind of, so better it is you keep 8 o'clock and tell the people. And finally, if you want, what you can do, you can decrease the salary also, or you can cut the salary of the half day. So this type of decisions also you can take it out. So it becomes very relevant. The employees, the people into the organization will be more into that, and then afterwards they will become very strict relating to following those rules and regulations, because then only these actions are been implemented properly into the regular period of time. Then two type of feedbacks that the managers are to be the necessary information. Usually a manager should take the two type of information, formative and stimulative. Formative and stimulative. Formative is like you need to take a professional way. Second, where you are taking a professional way, but you need to summarize all this work. You need to get it each and every information. So with the help of this, the thing is you can give the feedback. So like after once the feedbacks are being given, so feedback you need to give a positive way. And second, when you're giving a positive way, you need to give the reward system also you need to start. Means whenever you're saying, yeah, the work has been good, you're giving a proper way of graded thing. But with this grade, the thing is you need to give with the help of some of the amount also. Like incentive, as if I said, from the salary you're giving a best way of increment. So both the side you need to give, like formative and summative, where first you're giving an appraisal and second with the help of an incentive. So like the employee will be like more efficient, more dedicated to the work. So these are my different 5 types of steps, and with the help of 5 types of steps I can take a corrective way of decision process. Next it is what influence on individual decision making. Now here also, as if I said, we are a human. So like usually we have seen now, like completing all the slides, we have like previously whatever the slides we have completed. So we got to know what are management, what are decisions, what are decision making, how the decision makings are been done. So now we'll be moving with the help of next one, that is the influence on individual. Now usually individual, as if I'm saying from the beginning also, individuals are there, their thoughts, their perceptions are different. So that is why with the help of the thoughts and perceptions are different, the individual also affects, they're also having the certain kind of influence, and with the help of influence the thing is you can take a proper way of decisions. So a certain period of that decisions also been clashed. So like we'll be moving with the help of this, with the help of some different points where you are getting a proper way of influencing. Now, influencing of an individual, usually you are having this 4 type of points: importance of taking decisions, time pressures, manager values, manager propensity for the risk. So first it is what? Importance of decisions. Like whenever you want to take any kind of this, like usually people are very influenced on each other, like what to do, what not to do. So with this you are having the like decisions are very important for you. Next, time pressures, where you are having only least time, and where works are more stress is there. So for that also certain scopes are like you need to follow that type of flow. So like usually this thing also influence to you. Next, manager values, all values, ethics, each is different. So like to follow that type of values. Then afterwards, to manager should ready for the risk, whatever the risk are been taken. So certain period of time they are like not ready to accept those type of risks. Now individually, this was only the 4 points. Now individually we are moving with the help of importance of a decision. Just a minute. Okay. So we will move with the help of importance of decisions. Now, I'll go with the help of points, so at least it will be good for you to understand. Numerically, yardsticks of measures the importance of decision exists, including the amount of resources involved, the number of the people influenced by the decisions, and the time required to make a decision. Manager must allot more time and attention on significant problems. Now, usually what it happens, like importance of decisions, as you are into the as you are a human, so usually a behaviors also change. So when the behavior it is being changed, so finally it becomes very important where you need to take a proper way of decision. But at certain period of time, the certain problems occurs, and with the help of that problems, at least you cannot solve. So that is why the thing is what this type of importance have been there to take a proper way of decision. Now here you're getting more importance, more influences on the behavior of the human. Now first is numerical yardstick for measuring the importance of a decision exists, including the amount of resource, because usually resources also affects, and with the help of resources are affecting, so ultimately with this the behavior also being changed. Manager must allot more time and attention significant problems. So like usually when you want to take a proper way of decision, if there is any problem, so at least the manager should have a proper way of knowledge, because without a proper way of knowledge, the manager cannot sort a problem. So that is why a manager must allot more and more times on the problems, whatever it has been faced into the organization. Next, time pressures. Now usually we are facing on usually a managers like whenever if human beings are there, so like into the organization, the behaviors also affects here when it is a time pressure, because you have a time but still certain period of time you are busy into certain work, you're busy into certain problem. So like even stress charge also been there. So with this stress, the thing is what you're not able to get a proper way of decisions. So that is it becomes very not properly to perform each and every duties. So that is why even with this type of time pressures also, where it also affects the human to take a corrective decision. Now the manager must make the most of the decisions in other time frames. So like whatever it is being going, like manager, if they want to take a decision, so at least according to a time, at least they can take according to that. When time pressures are significant, manager may be unable to gather the enough information, because if certain period of time pressures are there, so like if they want to take a more decision, so that person won't be getting any type of more decision. If they want to take a more information, if a manager wants to take a more information, so it becomes very difficulty also to take those information from some other people. So that is why that because of the time pressures, you are having a less time, you need to have those details together, you need to sit for the meeting. So that is why this also time pressures also even it affects for the human. Next, time management is an priority, because usually in each and every organization, time management is an important, because without this, the thing is what you cannot survive into industry. Whenever if you're working into any part of organization, each and everything should be measured properly, because without measuring each and everything, you won't be able to complete your certain problems, complete your certain risk, whatever it is in there, you won't be able to manage each and everything properly. Next, manager who effectively manage their time feels less stressed and trying to make a better decision than the stress will come and counterpart. So usually there are certain managers who effectively manage. Like some people are there, like they are ready to take a time pressures also, and with the help of time pressures, they can complete the work properly with the help of like less stress, less decision making, not to like move more and more, not to follow the wrong elements, or the thing is what they are ready to give a proper, they are ready to give a positive impact more and more. So that is why this is a one part of it where the time pressures also affects the human. Next, we are into the values. Now, as if I said, all values, religions are different, all cultures are different, or ethics are different, or like norms are been different. So according to like each and every human beings are there, but still their views, perception, thoughts, objectives are also been different. So the, at least what that also which influence like to take a decision making to the individual. Now first it is what an individual values becomes guidelines when he or she confronts a choice. Usually you are having to male or a female it has been, so ultimately their influence, their behaviors, each and everything are being confronted. Their values are being different. Individually the values are being different. Values are one of the most important influences on the human behavior. As if I said you, like with the help of the values, we are connected as a human being, we are having certain values. certain norms are there, certain ethical thoughts we are having, or certain ideas are there. So that we are interconnected with each other. So that is important. Values are like, which type of values are like, dislike, should, out, judgment, prejudice that determines how the worlds are viewed. So like usually values are there. Some people like, some people doesn't like, some people are viewed properly, some people are not viewed properly, some people doesn't like that order, some people doesn't like that order. So with this help of this values only, the humans have been connected. So with this only, the preferences of each and every people, it has also been different. So once your preferences is different, so ultimately it becomes some people are ready for their decision, some people are not ready for their decision. So that is, this also get a very like influence for the people where to get interact with each and everyone. Like it is not even to the person, it is even to the worldwide for each and everyone. Value-based decision making is the methodological and ensures that the organization values enters into all the major decisions. Like whenever the values are been based, or like values-based decision making is methodological, where you are having certain kind of methods, and with the help of this method, the thing is what you are entering those values into the organization. Because what your like, dislike, your preferences, whatever it has been there, you are having all those values, and with the help of that values, you are an individual. You are moving into certain part of organization. You are mixing out that type of it, and you are showing certain type of innovative ideas relating to it. So then afterwards, it becomes a major decisions where you want to take it out. So your influences were related with human and organization. They both are mixing, and finally you are taking a proper way of decision. Because internally also there is certain part of it, your intuitions also say something else, and what your mind says something else. So with this parallel, you mixtured and perform those duties. Also, people don't think consciously about their values and rarely arrange them in any kind of order. Managers should be very aware of these values. Now, usually what people are not ready, certain period of time, they doesn't take from internal, they just speak it out, whatever they want to participate decision. So that creates a very wrong image, where if that person is not ready, if something is not there into his internal part, but still at least what, with the help of this only, they pass it as a decision without not thinking anything. So that is why a manager should take care relating to this kind of matters, whether that person is accepting up personally or whether it is not professionally that person is performing. Serious conflicts can occur amongst the values, because certain period of time without of these values or serious conflicts, like internally the grievances occur, the disputes occur, and with the help of these disputes, the thing is internally the decisions are not properly been took. So that is why this also influence the human, like whenever it comes into the part of human behaviors. Next, we will be having a risk, a manager propensity for the risk. Now, usually a manager, as if I said from previously, if you are taking any part of decision, a risk is important, because meanwhile, if you don't take a risk, so it creates a very negative impact for you also, because if you took a risk, it will be good. If certain period, if you took a risk, it can be bad. So that is why the manager should be every time ready. People vary greatly in the propensity to take a risk. Okay, people should be greatly ready for the risk, whatever they want. The issue for a manager is not whether to take a risk, but how to take a reasonable risk. That is the thing. It is not a risk here. It is being said where something which you are doing illusion, something which is a wrong way you are taking out. Here it is what a reasonable risk where you are taking out, means where you can solve a problem. How you can solve the problem? So at least with this, at least the thing, you are taking a risk, but with this parallelly you are competing with also with that. So this type of manager should be ready for this. And the thing is what, they are having the last point where you are being interacted with the help of proper way of this. Next, here it is group discussion making. Now, we have seen the importance. We got to know the proper way of how the decisions making are being done. Now, the next point, it is what a group discussion. First, whatever it is being said, this all all the points what we have learned. Okay, so that was related with individual, how you behave with the help of an individual. Now I am performing with the help of group way, where individual perform is the duties together, and then afterwards that thing is what a decision making, like a proper way of decision it is being taken with the help of different type of technique. Now previously we have seen the process, like as in individually, as into the organization, how the people prefer. Now into the group, especially here we are having different type of techniques, nominal techniques, Delphi techniques. So these are the different types of techniques, and with the help of these techniques, the thing is what you are taking a proper way of decision. You're gathering up people, you're taking experience, you're taking you're taking the help of the expertise, and with the help of this, all the 6 to 7 people are sitting together. You're asking the questions, you're raising the questions. If there is any kind of like questionnaire rounds are there, and with the help of this questionnaire round, like you're taking a proper, you write down those points, and then afterwards that is the relevant for you also to understand. Now, decision making. What is the main type of decision making here? A great deal of decision making is achieving through committees, team, task force, virtual teams, etc. So like I can't use those group discussion making. I can use a small word. What do you mean by word? This is where I'm dealing a great deal, where I'm having like huge number of people, where I can just give a one word. A committee, I can give it to that. Team, I can give task force, virtual teams, where a group of the people are coming together, they're performing a task. Decision made on the non-programmable problems being made by one individual on the regular basis are unusual. As if I said programmed and unprogrammed. So usually this type of, where programmed it is already the schedule one, it has been already which is given to you. You know, like daily decision, whatever you want to take. But when it comes to non-programmatic, like any time the problems come. So on that time, how to face that problem? So to face that problems, I need to I need to have a group of people for the decision. Now, for example, I can give it. When you are into the organization, the shareholders, if they want to take a decision, if the funds are being less, so if like the shareholders want to take a more decision, so on that time a shareholders cannot take alone a decision. So for this he requires a director, the other shareholders should come together and to come participate. So that is called my non-programmative, where every day the shareholders are not coming, every day my directors are not coming. So for this, you are having a specific date where I want to take an important decision. So that person comes, they ask me the questions, and with the help of asking the questions, they are performing, and with the help of the performing, the decisions are being taken. So usually it is an unprogrammatic way where you can take a group discussion making. Next, use of collective approach to the decision making process is increased. So like whatever you take a collective approaches where a proper way of decisions, at least you can take it. So like use that type of words, that type of problems where you can solve it together and perform whatever the actions you can if you want to take it out. So like according to that you can increase more. Many managers spend as much as 80% of their working time into the committee meeting. As if I said, committee meeting, like shareholders committee meeting, directors, board of directors meeting. So usually the thing is what a manager spends much time into, because they want to take a decision. So like into the organization, when a person is running an organization, only with the help of from the one person, the organization doesn't run. So for this, I require the group of people where they can give those views, those ideas, whether to invest into this company or whether not to invest into that company. So for this, parallelly, I require a concerned person at least to come and interact with me, because with this, if there will be proper interaction, so I can take a corrective decision making. Next, individual versus a group discussion. Now already we have seen individual, how the peoples have been taken. Second, when you are into the group. When you are individual, usually what it happens, an individual, whether you are still confused whether to accept, whether to reject. This is the thing. But when group it has been there, so ultimately each and every people will be giving their own views, and with the help of these views, you are selecting one and you are accepting out. So it becomes very easy way where you are into the group discussion. But individually, if you want to take it out, so individually, whether it is a risk taker, whether it to accept, whether not to accept. This is the thing. And the risk is more as when you take an individual decision. But when you take group discussion where each and every participate, they think if there will be any kind of expertise, so with the help of that expertise, they can give the new views to it. So ultimately, it becomes a very good way where you interact with among each and every people, individually and group discussion. Now here they are having given the difference between the individual and the group discussion. Group usually takes more times to reach the decision, because a certain period of time, what it happens, there is even barriers also, where if a group if a group want to take a decision, so it take a longer period of time, because what some views are different, some other person difference are there, some other difference are there, and finally you are want to take. So like it takes a huge time to spend this. Next. Conscious decisions with the 5 or more participants are superior to individual decision making. Majority votes and leader decision. Usually what it happens into the group discussion, you go with the help of majority, you vote it, and finally the decisions are being selected. This also usually having this type of problems in the group discussion. Problem with the group decision making. What are the problems are there? Like whenever group discussion is good, but parallel they are having a certain problem. Pressures to conform, like there are certain people, no, you need to accept this only. This is the thing as there. Influencing of dominating personality, as if I said, no, this thing, it is a compulsory, you need to perform this way only. So that is the like a main wrong role it is we say. Status of incongruent, where a status also matters according to it. Attempt of certain participant to influencing the others. Usually what it happens like to influence the other, usually they're having creating a barriers amongst each and every people. So that is why the thing is the group discussion having certain kind of it problems also where they're facing out. Next, individual non-programmable decision appears to be the better suits to to the group discussion. Usually, as if I say, when the problems comes at a certain period of time, so that type of only problems, it will be proper way of decision making where you can take it out into the group discussion. As we move from individual to conscious, the quality of decision improves. Where I say individual, I don't use the word from individual, I use conscious. So like the quality of the words improve, because individually where they can give a positive attitude, whatever they like, dislike, at least they can give their own thing. But when you are into the group, so like dislike, so like that interacts, and with the help of an interaction that creates a certain kind of barriers. For a complex problems require pooled knowledge, the quality of decisions likely to be higher as the group moves towards the achieve to the conscious. Now, as compared to the group and the individual, usually a group should have a more knowledge, more importance, more analyzation, more things, more experience with this. So at least it becomes very easy to stand for with the help of individuals and the group discussion. Both the things. So that is why this is one type of individual and a group discussion where. Next, creative in group discussion. Like what are the creativity, like whenever if you're doing group discussion, so on that time what type of creativity which has been done. Just a minute. Creativity in group discussion. Here it is what when you're doing group discussions on that time, what type of creativity it is been done. Because meanwhile, if you don't do creativity, if it doesn't show certain kind of a new proper like a proper zone on that time, so it creates a certain barriers. If a groups are better suited to the non-programmed decision than an individual, then it is important that the atmosphere fostered group creative by created. Now usually, as if I said, when you move it into non-programmable group, so on that time when non-programmable group, it is like when you're going out, so it is like you usually take that type only non-programmable decisions where you are having the problems, and with the help of problems you are analyzing each and everything and you're passing the sentences. So that creates a very good impact, and that creates a positive because it shows certain creativity. When individuals are there, when you want to pass a decision, so it becomes very easy for you. Or else a programmable decision, if you want to take it, it becomes easy for you. But when it's a non-programmable, it is coming out, it becomes very like you are getting a problems, and with the help of the problems, you are solving the problems for the certain particular period of time. So that is why the thing is that you need to have a proper focus on a non-programmable way. So at least you can solve the problems with a certain showing like creativity when you are into the group discussion. Next, techniques of stimulating the activity. As if I said, these are the 3 types of techniques, and with the help of these 3 types of techniques, usually into the group discussion, whenever you are into the group, you want to take a certain decision. So I am having this 3 type of problem: brainstorming, Delphi techniques, and nominal groups. When I'm going to the brainstorming, it is what you are getting in ideas into your brain. You're asking the people, you're having those knowledge, you're using your brains more, you're like getting out different types of creativity that you do. Delphi techniques, here you do usually with the help of questionnaires way, where you ask those questions, and with the help of the questions, at least you complete it out. Nominal group, where you ask the normal questions, and with the help of using the certain programmatic and non-programmatic mixtures, and then after you are performing your certain kind of technique. Now individually we'll be moving into it. First it is what brainstorming. Now see what type of brainstorming you do it. Brainstorming promotes the generation of an ideas while at the same time avoid the inhibitions many people feels in the group settings. So that is why usually it becomes a group, generate a good idea. That is why I said the brainstorming, it is what you're using your brain. Like if you want to take a decision, you're using your brain constantly, and with the help of this, you're getting a proper way of ideas. You're getting an idea, but when you're getting an ideas and you're using this ideas into the group. Next, to group settings, like you can have a proper setting. The basic rules, like when you do the brainstorming, like when you do the brainstorming, no ideas is too ridiculous, because what certain period of time the ideas come more and more. Some ideas are like not proper, some ideas are very like some ideas are being accepted, not accepted. So some are not accepted. So that is why each idea presented belonging to the group, not to the people stated it. Like the whatever the ideas are being they given to you. So usually you're performing that thing into the group only. You're not giving or not interpreting only for the one person. No ideas can be criticized. Like whatever the ideas are being there, if into the group, if the people are giving me the idea, so it is like you not need to criticize whether the ideas is right, whether the idea is wrong. Whether if certain period of with this help of only ideas, at least you can develop certain kind of good type of impact. Next, Delphi techniques, where you are having one topic, and with the help of one topic, the thing is what you are having, you're involving each and every people are involving into the topic, and you're getting a questionnaires, and once you're getting a questionnaires, interested questionnaires, and with the help of it, you're getting a proper answer. Now see, the Delphi technique comprises the solicitations and the comparisons of annoying judgments on the topic of interest through the set of sequencing questionnaires that are interspersed with the summarizing information and the feedback of an opinion from an earlier response. So that is why the Delphi technique, it is what you are discussing on one topic, and with the help of discussion you are having the questionnaire. You're getting the answer first. You are using a brain. Now you're getting an answer, whatever the decision was passed previously, whatever the decision is going on currently. So with this, you're answering the questions. And here the questionnaires are much more. So with the help of this, at least you're getting out an answer where you're getting a feedback whether to accept or whether not to accept. Next, Delphi techniques are there. The advantages of having the several judges while removing the bias affected that might occur during face-to-face interaction. So this is one type of interaction way where each and every people sit together, and then afterwards they are having the interaction, and then after they are showing different type of techniques. When you are moving with the help of an Delphi technique, these are the different points. You need to follow this type of different points. Basic approaches to collect the annoying judgment from group members by mailing questions. So better it is like sitting together and performing those duty. Better it is you do the mails to the set of questions. You give the questions to the people. So according to that, at least whatever the answers will be there, they'll be accepting out. So like face to face, the questions are given, and from the questions, at least the answers are being answers. You need to write it out. So once you get the answers, so finally you get interaction. The process of administration that summarize the response as a group census and feeds the summary back along with the second questionnaire for the reassessment. So like once it has been done, so they are like you can assess that thing, and finally if they have the more decision, more answer for it, so again you need to do the reassessment relating to it. Respond independently, evaluate their earlier response, whatever if they haven't given to the answer. So if you want to give again the same answer or some changes related to the answer, that also you can give it. Underlying the belief is that the conscious estimating will result in the better decision after several rounds of annoying the group of the judgment. Like to take a decision, whatever the round, whatever the questionnaires have been weighed, so that answer, from that answer you need to take a judgment, and with the help of that judgment, at least you need to praise in the form of the group. Like when the groups are there, so ultimately into that group only you need to perform each and every duty. So underlying the belief, okay, that the conscious estimating will be result in the better decision after several rounds of annoying the group, like different rounds, and finally whatever the answer you're getting out, with the help of that, the thing is you're taking a decision. Next, NGT, that is the nominal group techniques. Now here it is a simple way where you're asking a simple questions, and with the help of the questions you're getting out the proper way of decision. A nominal group techniques comprising a process that brings the people together but do not allow them to communicate verbally. Thus, collection of the people is the group nominally or in the name only. Usually you're into this type of a nominal group techniques. Here the group of people are not gathering, but at least what they have been given the opportunity to raise their questions, to give their decisions, and with the help of the decision, at least from that decision, at least they can give certain kind of information, and that can be used into the decision making becomes very proper way. So that is why we are using this NGT type of techniques. Now, usually when you're following this type of techniques, a structured way of group meeting procedures you need to follow, like whenever if you're moving with the help of nominal techniques. So, a group of individual like 7 to 10 people sit around the benches, do not speak to any other. Okay, first when I'm moving with the help of NGT techniques, so like 7 to 10 people, all the people should sit into the table, but there won't be any kind of a talking. Each person writes their ideas on the pad of paper. All the people will be writing those ideas, those views into the pad. Now, once you're getting those ideas, a recorder writes the ideas on the flip chart in the full views of entire group. Like once the ideas are being get, so like they write it on the like a board, and they write it out all the answers, they write it out all the views, all ideas they write it out. Next, this continue until all the participants indicate there are no further ideas to be shared. It is like each and every people, those ideas they want to give it out, like they list it out, those ideas, a recorder write it out. Like your no interactions are there, the people are coming, and then afterwards the people are giving the ideas into the paper, and with the help of the paper it is given to the person, recorder, and the recorder write down those points, and with the help of the points they continue, and like they write it out the points till the time it is not been stopped. So like the people are not like they said yes, now this is the final one, like after this we are not ready to want to give two extra ideas, so from this only it will be accepting the one idea. Each idea is received the attention before a vote is taken. So finally one the ideas are been there, so ultimately the votes are been taken. Each participant is private, select priorities by the ranking or a voting. So usually ranks are given for that decision or a votings are given to that decision. The group discussion is a mathematical pool outcomes of individual votes. So like into this type of group discussion where individual is giving the voting, and with the help of it's a one type of mathematically where you are giving out the views, and with the help of the views the decisions are being completed, and so that is why this is one type of nominal group techniques. Okay, now we are moving into internal, that is called information technology and decision making. So from here it will be a technical way where you are showing a certain kind of views, where each and every decisions are being updated into the system. You are analyzing the system, you are analyzing your forecasting for the future, and with the help of the forecasting, the thing is you are following those decisions according to that. Now we'll be moving into this information. What do you mean by this? Information and decision making. In decision making situation, manager can't possibly use all available information. So like to get all information and to take each and every details, like manager won't be having out. So that is why, and they can't take a decision like that only. Meanwhile, if that person doesn't get any kind of information. The challenges of a manager is to collect, process and warehouse the most relevant information to make effective decisions in the present and future. As if I said previously only, he needs to take a certain decision of each and every department or each and every firm where he needs to take a proper way of effective decision, and that decision will be for the present and future one. Tools for the warehouse and retrieving information for using throughout their form, like whatever the tools are there, whatever the machineries are there, like to take an update of related with any kind of internal to the technique. So for this I require the system, and with the help of system at least I can use this type of proper way of decision making. So like what are the informations are in there? Data of warehouse, I need to keep it updated. Data of mining, data mart, search engines, software agents. So these are the internal technical way, because it's a technical way where I'm moving. First I went to the managemental level. Second I'm moving with the help of an information technological level. So this, if I want to take a information technology related information technology related the decision. So for this I need to have a proper update of all the data, because then only I can use this type of data, and with this only I can take a proper way of decisions. Next, attributing of useful information. Usually information I should have this type of proper way of information. Whenever if I want to take any part of decisions, when a systematical way it has been there, accessible, it should be a proper way of accessible, timely relevant, it should be having the proper time, accurate, a proper, very verifiable, like whatever it has been there, it is verified by the organization, the concerned person, It should be complete and clear. That is most important, because meanwhile if I don't have a complete details, if it is not clear, so ultimately it creates a barriers for me at least to take a proper decision. If my this is proper, so ultimately I can take a useful way of information, and with the help of useful way of information I can take a decision. Next, information sharing. What type of information you share? Organization that train the people in the values of information and how to use it and share it to gain competitive advantages over those who don't. So like usually we know we are into the competitive world. So at least the organization should share certain kind of views, certain kind of changes, and with the help of the changes, the thing is the sharings of information should be there. So at least with this, at least you will be getting a proper way how to use a proper way of resources according to the organization. Now, this is a little bit of technical, that decision support system. Okay, so like where I'll be getting a proper way where I can take a proper way of decision support system. So like this is a technical way where I'm gathering those data, and with the help of data, the thing is what I'm skipping out the sequence wise properly that data, and then afterwards I'm using this type of data into the corrective measure. Now see, this DSS, I have written here the mistake. It is a DSS. It is an interactive information system that enables the managers to gain instant access to information to the less structured format that the traditional management information systems or a database. So usually this type of system was usually used into the traditional way, like olden time, where this type of methods were used, and with the help of this type of methods where the decisions was taken on that time. So that is why it gains the instant information, where each and every information, if you want relating to any kind of organization to take a decision, so you get it this type of information. So that is this type of systems is there. Must obtain the information about the firm, competitions and the business environment. So like with the help of this type of system, you get a proper clear-cut idea relating to what is going into the environmental, and with the help of this, the competitions who have been there. Many includes links to them to the World Wide Web, and have built the artificial intelligence that adjusts to the group behaviors and the needs. Now with the help of this, usually as we are into the link of worldwide, that is called a www dot, and finally whatever the sites are there. So at least you get those data and those informations, and with the help of the information, it becomes a proper way of proactive decisions where you can take it out. Okay, so with this, the thing is the group how they behave and individual how they behave, that is also different. It also inherited user of friendly. Usually it's a one type of it where people where they perform a friendly way of relationship, so at least they can take a proper way of decisions. Then supports managerial skills, that all the level of decision making by providing instant response to the manager information needs. Now as if I said now, if I want to take if the people is working properly, so I give the performance appraisal. So with the help of the performance appraisal, so nowadays they are having the systems where you can grade it. If the people are having coming regularly into the organization, so that if certain period of that person is absent, so like punching machines are there. So with the help of with the help of it, the people who are entering early in the morning, so they do the thumb impression. So that is a technical. Directly it's connected with the help of technology. So like with the help of technology, the resources have been properly allocated. If the person is taking leave more, I can take a proper way of decisions, and the best part, I'll be getting a proper way of information relating to each and every duty. So that is where this type of information I'll be getting on. So it becomes very relevant for me at least to understand those decisions. An executive information system, okay, is user friendly. Then afterwards, it designed specifically for the executive. Usually, the people who are from the higher levels, so at least for them, at least it will be convenient for at least to understand. And you'll be getting consolidate the analyzing provided by this interpreting. It's considering the form, strategies, goal, and present for the result for the executive for the understandably for the format. So like once your month is completed, when the salary or when the attendance are being checked, so on that time you get it a printout. So it becomes when that printout it is being get, so you get a correct way of systematical zone. So from this at least you'll be getting a proper way of clear cut whether to take a proper decision relating to this employee and to get it a proper way of information relating to this. So that is this is one type of managerial skills where it has been used, and with the help of this type of support system. This is a technical way where you need to analyze with it. So like previously where you are taking a decision with the help of group and individual, here you are taking the decisions with the help of like certain systematical internal with it. So with this, you can develop with the help of your proper set of goals. Okay, now just a minute. Okay, these are the expert system and artificial intelligence. Now you are having certain, even also if you want to take important decisions, you are having expertise, and you can take even the decisions where it has been there, like showing certain kind of intelligence. Nothing means certain kind of new thoughts. Artificially intelligent allows the computers to solve the problems involving the imagination, abstract reasoning, and the common sense. So usually nowadays the computers are having, so like all the answers where you get it into the computers. So like those expertise are there to the online. You can ask those questions. You can clear out those, like you can see the images, and with the help of this, at least you can solve those problems. Expert system prefers to the computer system that can make the decisions without the human interaction. So like I don't want any other people decision. Here only I'll be having the expert who will be having the people who will be having the knowledge. He has been he has been spread those knowledge, and with the help of that knowledge, I used to accept that type of it. By imitating the human thinking and often advices or solutions to the complex problems in much the same way as the human experts works. Like how the humans are giving those decisions, the same machineries are also being used for a decision making, a proper way of decision making. So it becomes very convenient for also for me to understand each and every systems properly. So this is one type of my expert system. Okay. Now we are moving. We got to know the proper way of decision making, how you need to take a proper way of decision, and how relevant the decisions are being there. Now we'll move into the business communication. Now, usually into the organization, we are having the communication is the major part, because without this, the thing is the business into the business, you cannot survive into the industry. So like whenever into the workplace, the communication matters first, because it's a where your interaction with the people, your values, your ethics, your thoughts, your perceptions are being exchanged. And here you are having different type of advice where you can give it out, different type of views you can give it out, where you will be having certain technical way where you are representing your organization in the front of the others with the help of certain PPTs, with a certain PPT type of system. So with the help of this system, so it becomes very relevant for say to the people who are into the organization. So like communication is a major and essential part of a business, as if I said, communicating into the workplace. So usually you are having a communication where you are having this type of system. A laptop, it has been there, the people it has been there, from here also currently you can do the communication. So previously on that time, on the olden period on usually communication was done with the help of face to face. Currently we are doing with the help of communication. Usually the people who are sitting outside of the country also, you are a director or a manager sitting outside the country also, still you can have the interaction between from them to you. So at least it becomes currently a communication is an essential element into the business field. Okay, now what are the importance, what are the things you see it out, what are the importance, what are the objectives you see it out, like when you do with the help of communication. The importance of communication in the business is, okay, the importance are there into the communication business. First, current challenges, you can face the current challenges, because whatever, with the help of a communication, if your skills are proper, if you are able to understand proper, so ultimately into the currently, at least what you can face those challenges properly. Three main categories of the business communications are there. Like whenever you are taking, you got a proper thing, like whenever you're doing a communications, you are getting a proper challenges where you're facing out. But with the help of these three things, where with the help of this there are the major categories of business communication. Whenever you're doing business communication, I need to have this three type of networking. First, formal, informal communication networks. Business communication as a form of problem solving. The content for each act of a business communication. The business communication process. So like this is a rest point. Like I need to have this three type of sentences. Formal, informal way of communication, where you're performing a proper like a problematically, where you're having those proper way of knowledge, proper way of information. So you're getting a formal, where a professionalism you're showing out. So like when we move internal, so at least you'll be getting a clear-cut idea. Informal way, where you're having the friendly type of settlements among each and every people, and with this you're keeping a network according to that way. And certain period of time into the organization, communications are that part of it, where if it's a problem solving, you are having that type of communication. Next, the content of each act of the business is the communication. Now usually communication is a major zone, because we are into that part of industry. In each and every moment, if you don't do communication, if you are mom, so like you won't be able to survive into industry if you doesn't speak. So that is why communication is the most important. A business communication process. Now, internally, we have seen this all point. Now we'll moving into the internally. What are the importance when you get it out? Okay. Now just we'll move into it. The importance of communications. 94% of overall 2000 survey executed the rank communicating well and the most important skill for the success. So like usually importance it is what usually in the current world like this much 94% of the people are usually having the successful way of communication, but the rest of the people are not having. So according to researcher it has been said. Company including the business weeklies, a best place of work site communication skills, the most important trade in the job candidate more desirable than other trade beside the colleagues major. So like usually into the organization, the people who are into the organization, usually they need to have the communication, and because with the help of the communication is most important, because when you go for the job, so on that time also they having list of questions they ask to you, the different problems they gives to you. So on that time you need to solve that. For this, the communication is important, because what when you're sitting over there, you are like something else. But when you're coming into the past one, then on that time the communication is important. Like in each and every part. Meanwhile, if you don't have a communications, at least you cannot survive into industry. So that is why the thing is the importance of communication. This skill should be there to each and every. Not to communicate anyhow, but at least what to communicate, how to communicate to it. This thing should be there. Even more evidence of an important employee, like usually see these are the different type of it. I have given certain examples, so at least with the help of their examples they have been accept this type of communication skills, and with the help of acceptance at least it becomes a good impact for them at least to grow, because why we communicate, we grow, that is why we communicate. Now here there is having one National Association of the College and Employer survey for the job outlook 2009 site communication skills along with the trail with the help of strong work ethics, ability to work in the team, and initiated the highly prized quality in the job application. Meanwhile, if you work more, if you talk more, if you communicate the proper way with the proper way of skills, so like you will be able to get a proper job, and you can take a proper way of measures, like whatever if you want to take a decision as you are into the group, you will be highly appraised, and with the help of highly appraised you'll be getting a proper way of reward system. Then here there is a one more journal, it has been said recruiters who assign MBA program give a communication interpersonal skills more rating of very important than other attributes. Like usually why the students do MBA, it is not just a master's program what you do it, but with this master's program you're getting a certain communication. So that is why this subject communication skills usually they kept in each, and usually into the managemental, when you do any kind of managemental course, wherever in whichever field, finance, marketing, HR, you are having one subject that's the communication skill. Usually they keep it. They keep on the first semester or into the mid of the semester, because what with the help of this only the people can have a good way of communication skills. They can improve the communication skills. They'll be getting a those knowledge. What are the skills? Because usually when I say communication, usually they say English, where you need to just come and you need to speak English. But that doesn't mean just coming and sitting only speaking English. That means what you understood, what you are able to understand, and what the able, like are you able to convince the people, you are able to like see each and everything. So that is why this program into the MBA they usually keep this type of communication skill, because where the people learn those skills, listening skill, hearing skills, okay, then afterwards listening, hearing, communicating, these are the different types of skills. And with the help of the skills they use those verbal language, they use non-verbal language, certain clues, okay, where they use a certain type of it like oral way, where to do with the help of written way. This is simple, but still it is certain where you need to be into the professional when you are into certain part of it organization. So that creates a very good impact, and these are the evidence of an importance it is there. Current challenges for the business communication, because currently you need to face challenges. We are into that kind of competitive world where it has been changed in a bit of like a large, it has been changed, a huge, it has been changed, a vast change it has been there. So with the help of this vast changes, the communication should also be there, because nowadays into the organization, if you are not having the listening skill, the people are not listening the corrective. Okay, not even to the association, not even to the organization, but even when the students who are into the college still it doesn't listen properly, and with the help of not listening completely, not hearing completely, so the thing is the information is not clear, which is not clear. So that is why it creates a very negative impact for the people to understand what is going on. So that is why, now see, what are the challenges which you face in the business communication? Ongoing development of the new information technique, as if I said, we are into that type of thing. Like previously, we was not having a computer, okay? We was only having where a network system was not there. The people has invented a computer. After computer, we are having the laptop. We are having with the help of communication first with the help of telephone. Now we are having the mobile phones. So with this changes, we are into that type of global changes, and with the help of changes you are getting new information. Increasing the global nature of a business where this type of communication systems are there. So ultimately we are into the entire world where you have a contact with each and every people. Growing diversity in the workplace and the type of the workplace into the workplace where it has been say like growing more and more, okay, showing different type of an attitude, showing a proper way of ethics and values, and with the help of this, the thing is what your workplace where you're showing a good type of innovative ideas relating to this. Next, main form of communication business. Usually, what type of main form of communication business you can do? Operational and personally. Operational, where I'm going like a technical way where I'm moving, and second, personally, individually how I communicate. And with the help of this only, the thing is what you're showing the proper form of your communication into the business. Because in business it has been there internal into the organization, external to the organization. With this parity, how a personal it has been performing means when you are internally with yourself, second with the help of when you are into the group how you are performing, second personally when you are alone what you think. So that is with this type of business communication, and with the help of this business type of communication at least you show certain kind of influence into the communication level. Now here it is what communication networks, we have already seen those communication networks, formal, informal. Okay, when you are into the formal it is certain where a sequence, certain schedules are there, genuine reasons or each and everything it is my steps. Informal way where I'm having mixtures of each and everything. So like when I'm going to have a formal way, well established, okay, as if I said sequence wise, usually only operational lines depending on certain established form or genres in the companies. Next, planned and managed, as if I said the formula, so that is why each and everything my step by step it will be there. Informal way networks where I'm having a complex and ever changing. I don't know what are the things that have been changed. So like I can say this is just part of networking. But when I come with the help of this type of communication with the help of individual when I'm coming, so like I can say a formal when you are into the organization, when you speak with your boss, you perform on that time a formal way of communication. Respected sir, good morning sir, this way you give it. So means each and everything it has been set and with this only you go. But when I'm moving with the help of informal communication, when I'm with my relatives, when I'm with my friends, okay, so when I'm with my colleagues, so on that time and the meanwhile I perform my certain duties on informal way with a common way of like talking with each and every people, like discussing, and so means that type of communication there's a vast difference between these two, formal and informal way of communication. Okay. Next, I'm having, see, the communication networks is the division of small manufacturing company. Now see how the communication is there. Now here I'm having the two things, it has been, I have drawn a chart and see how the communication it has been there. Black line, it's a formal way. See, black line wherever you can see, so there it will be a formal way of communication. Okay, so but when I'm having with the help of red lines where I can say it's an informal way, at the moment the time they change oftenly. So like usually I can see a black line where I'm having a manager, departmental manager, division manager. But when I'm moving with the help of red lines, you can see it I speak anyhow with any kind of people. So this is what, now for example, when you are into the organization, you speak with your colleagues with a certain respect. But when you are into a lunch time, when you just move outside from the office, you become very friendly with the people. So that is why the manager interacts with each and every people individually. So that is why this is a division manager. So that is why a departmental manager, this my all lines will be certain period of time, will be certain formal and with this certain informal. But boss, when he is into the office, He behaves with you very formal way with the help of respecting sir or a manager. He gives to you or call, can you just call that manager, or can you just call that superior or supervisor, this way. Once he go outside, okay, or else once you plan somewhere for the lunch or a dinner outside, so on that time he speaks with you anyhow. The formal at every time of change, a bit type of change, the person, a boss from formal, he convert himself from informal. So this type of also systems are there, and with the help of this, the communication also differs, because what the communication, when you are with your colleagues, when you are with your organization boss, so you speak certain respective way, certain type of ethical way, certain with the help of values. But when this, they convert himself a certain period of an informal way, where you just speak anyhow, and you are having very friendly way of informal way where I'm moving. So where informal way I'm moving, so on that time it's a friendly way of communication where I'm moving. So here it creates a very good impact here with them. So like according to the changes, according to the time, I need to have a bit of changes. So that is, this is a small way of networking communication system. So with the help of this only, what you can grow more and more into the organization. Just a minute. Okay, so this is what a where you have to have a communication between each and every people. Now, affects usually what it happens, like when you are into the business zone. Now, the factors affecting the communication to the business. Now, usually when you are into the business, so like certain, there are the factors, and with the help of that factors, the barriers occurs, it affects the communication level. So like first, nature of business, because you never know what type of business it has been there wherever you're working. So in each and every organization, their business are been different. So according to that, certain period of the communications also differ. Business operating plans, whatever the plans it has been set, and according to that plan, the thing is what internal the communications also affect, because some are acceptable, some are not acceptable. Business environment, that also affect, because it is depend upon how the people are more interacting with each and every people into individual. That is also there. Geographical dispersions, because depend upon the environment, and with the help of an environmental way, where a certain period of time communication is also having the barriers, like when you shifted to language barriers has also been there certain period of time, so at least it becomes a not proper way of communication. With this, the thing is certain period of time business also affects relating with the help of this type of communication. People, as if I said, different peoples are there, different humans are there, their thoughts are different, perceptions are different. So the communication levels also, certain are to the higher level, certain are to the lower level. So that also differs. Companies culture, usually organizations, certain different cultures are there. So some people accept that type of culture, some people doesn't accept that type of culture. So that also affects relating to this. Now, business problems, business communications as a problem solving. Like with the help of the proper way of communication, you can solve a proper problem. So with the help of the problem, at least you can have a proper way of decision according to that. Now see, problems are simple, a gap between where you are and where you want to be. So like whenever, if you want to solve the problem, first you need to think about it, where I am currently and where I want to be. Because if this type of it, my goals are being set properly, I can able to move properly. I can get a proper problems of solving, and where I can have a good interaction between each and every people. Problem ranges from the well-defined to ill-defined. So like from starting till end, whatever the proper defined definition I'll be getting out, so that from that I can solve my problem. So I'm having the two factors where I can solve the problems when I am into that and when I am not into that. Well-defined problems can be solved by formulas. Okay, like if you want to develop certain kind of communication barriers, if you want to take a proper way of problems, you need to solve it. So like you're having a formula, and with the help of that formula, you can solve the problem. That's the first part. Second, most business communication problems are ill-defined problems, regularly analyzing a unique configuration of a factors to arrive to arrive at somewhat unique solution. Like sometimes certain periods in communication, like whatever if you do it, they all require not the same communication, but a certain period of time something they require which is which is different, which is innovative. So that is why it's a unique way where you need to solve this type of problem. There only you can define that type of problem. So that is why these are the problem ranges which has been well defined properly. Now, usually a business communication process, usually it is in the business, economical, social, historical way, a large content. So like you can have two people who are having a communication, they are having the relationship. So like when a communicator, first wording, organizing, professional organizing. Okay, all are having this thing. Both the people when they are communicating, they are having organizational properly, they know what type of things they need to have. Professional, when you are into the organization, perform a profession, because we are into business communication. Personally, how you are personally, you know that. Means individually and the other person individually. Now you see how they do the communicator relationship. They perform with the help of initial message, choose. Now here you can say these are the two person where they communicate. So like when they communicate, this is the sender, second part is the receiver. Sender send a message to the receiver accept those message. So now whatever this person gives the information to that person, the message encodes. Now here the thing is the initial message, choose the channel. Now this is the choosing of channel where communication has been accepted. Now second part, once the communication is accepted here, the second part again the feedback comes with the help of yes and no. So like this person again communicate. Now you can say here we are having the communication between both the senders and receiver. I send you the message, you accept those message, again you give the response with the help of yes and no. So this is what a two type of relationship here it is being shown, and with the help of relationships the thing is the communication, the business communication can take a proper way of decision. So that is why a large content where when the communication matters, you need to see about business economically, social, cultural way and historical way. Because where a large content where you are having the communication with the help of both the sides. So here you will be having a good way of interaction between each and everyone. So that is why a communication is the best scope where you are getting a proper way of information. It will be people oriented where you are having interaction between each and every people. And with the help of interaction, the thing is what you're growing more and more. And with the help of growing more and more, my communication will be strong. And the problems, whatever it will be there, I can solve into the corrective measures, and I can take a corrective actions relating to that with the help of proper type of feedback. Because if you doesn't speak, you won't be able to share those ideas, share those views. So to share those ideas, share these views, your communication should be proper, and with this only the process it is be there. So like into the organization, okay, the communication, business communications are of two types. It is between the two persons, senders and receiver. A sender is a first word, means that person send the message. Receiver, that the second word, that the second person who accepted the message. Sender send the message, receiver accepted the message. He gives the message, that person accepted, that person gives you the feedback. So like continuously, you can see the arrow, how it has been moving on. Okay, with the help of an arrow, how the changes. Now here it has been arrow, your first it has been completed. Once that person is responding, again the thing is the arrow, it is again to this part it has been. So like two person, when the person communicates together and then afterwards the decisions are being given properly to each and every people. So this is called a business communication process. Now here the next, the content of communication. Now usually, now the same chart what we went currently, now with the help of this chart we'll be moving a text type. Now see the content for the communication. Now usually when you are a communication, usually it will be in the large content, because whenever you communicate, usually you see business economical, where social, culture, historical, where you see it out each and every relationship. Now here the thing is the relationship of communicators. Okay, the communicators particularly content. Now usually a communicator, usually when you want to have a communication, so like usually that person has a certain type of knowledge organizationally, professionally and personally. With the help of this three only, the thing is that person can show a certain kind of corrective measures, and they will be having a proper way of content, a proper way of explanation, a proper way of information relating to this three types of strategy. And with the help of this three type of where he needs to perform with the help of proper way of decision making, because without this, the thing is what, the companies cannot be run into the corrective one. So that is why this type of it has been prominently it has been used, and with the help of this organization, professional way and personal way, where their performance it has been analyzed. Okay, now next it is what the key points, like whenever when you do with the help of communications way, so what are the things to be measured, because these are the things to be measured properly when you do with the help of communication, because this is a proper sequence, proper a business way where you're performing a communication. First, introduce and summarize for each chapter, like when you are presenting a topic. Now from your, when you're communicating, first we learn to all the business communication way. Now we will be moving with the help of, as currently now we will be moving with the help of like when you're explaining to the certain concept. So like explaining, the first it is what you need to introduce the chapter, you need to summarize each and everything. First it is what, because once you give the introduction, you summarize a bit of it, at least the person will be getting a clear cut idea, because this is all type of business way where you need to perform a formal way of communication. Second, direct simple sentences, whatever the sentences when you're giving, it should be a direct and a proper way of simple sentence. It should be not very harsh or not which is like unambiguous, which is not clear. So this thing should be there. Then short paragraph, whenever the person is explaining to you, okay, so explain on that way, it will be on the short paragraph. White space, usually use a white space, bullet and graphic, where at least it will be good to explain to the people, because this is also one part of communication. Like for example, if I'm teaching on this way, it's one part of communication, so I'll keep that type, at least it will be visible for you, because if I keep it on the white slide, whatever the slide I prepare, I keep it on the white page, so at least with this, at least you won't be able to see that type of it. If I use certain different colors, I do use certain kind of different type of it, this font size, ultimately the thing is you won't be able to understand. So this is the thing is there. Tables and figures stand in their own, stand in their own, whatever the tables and figures, if you're drawing any kind of it, so like there should be certain kind of it proper way you need to give it the information. Text stands in its own. If you want to give, like when you're drawing a chart, you're giving certain information, that also you can give it out. There is nothing too obvious to say, like whatever the answer it has been, like whatever it has been given, give that way the details, so at least it will be relevant for you also to understood. That is a key point, like whenever you communicate with the help of visualization, when you do with the help of communication, so at least this creates a very good impact relating to this. Now, currently we'll be moving with the help of, just a minute. Now, currently we'll be moving the components of an effective presentation. Now we learn with the help of proper way of communication, we got to know what are different types of communication, how the communication is more relevant for you. Now, to make an effective presentation, because like the thing is, whenever you're presenting in business, usually you need to show with the help of PPT presentation. So like when you give a PPT presentation, you need to have a proper way of upgradation with the help of this all ended. First, purpose, format, data, conclusion, so what, restate and tag ending. So like each and every concept you require, because with the help of each and every concept only you will be able to understand what are the things of preparing a proper effective presentation, because with this presentation only the communication also there. So like because once you're preparing this type of presentation, you need to show, you need to have a communication between each and every person. So first it is what a purpose, format, data, conclusion, so what, restate and a tag ending. So this all points should be there read out, like when you are showing with the help of proper way of effective presentation. Now I'm moving with the help of internal concepts, so at least with the help of internal concepts you will be getting out what are the things to be updated, so at least it will become more relevant for you when you prepare a presentation, so it will become more effective for you, because you need to prepare that type of presentation, it becomes more effective to explain to others. First it is what a purpose, that is what define the task, Okay, like whenever you're preparing a presentation, the purpose of your presentation should be there. A purpose of this presentation, as if I said, describe what the original problems was and what you were asked to do. Okay, means what you are thinking, what was the original problems, what was there, and then afterwards you need to currently, means what the problem was there and what is going on currently which has been asked to you. So to solve that problems, each and everything, the purpose should be there, because without the purpose you won't be able to understand, or you won't be able to prepare it properly. So first it is what a purpose. Next, format, because what format is important, what is the presentation is going to the presentation recommendation. So like format, a proper, like what type of font size it will be there, what type of each and everything points will be there, that is the thing. The presentation recommended, okay, tell them what you are going to say. This is the agenda. Effective presentation, use this to outline the critical things that will be covering, not copying the grading the sheets. So usually this is what format, and with the help of the format, the same format will be presented. So at least what, with the help of the same format, at least what you can explain properly. Because to make an effective presentation, so if my each and everything, if it is properly said, so it becomes very relevant for also to at least to have a good interaction between each and everyone. So that is why a format is most important, because if you are having a format, so at least you'll be getting a proper type of steps how to follow. Next, data, that is the important, because where the information where you calculated, so with the help of whatever the data are there, so how you place that data. Now for informations and data about the problem, whatever the problems are there, so like to solve that problem, what are the informations, what are the problems, the data you need to collect. You should note the following facts in support to this recommendation. This is the background. Spend only the time here that you are absolutely need. Like when you're presenting also, the data should be a proper, where a problems are there. So that problems you need to have a focused on that type of problem. So at least you can show certain type of important facts, and with the help of important fact, at least it grooms more and more. So that is why that data is also important. Conclusion, it has been there, it's the final ending, where the thing is what, once your each and everything it has been completed, your introduction part, you are summarizing each and everything, the next part it is what, a last part it is what, your conclusion. Because without the conclusion, my communication won't be over, it won't be proper way of where I can understand, where I can explain each and everything into the correct way, where a short way of elaboration of all the matters, from starting from introductions to the end of it, whatever the matters are there. So place that each and information into that. Within us, like a final of conclusion of some 4 to 5 lines, you can update it. And with the 4 to 5, or else you can take a more line, but it will be a short paragraph, not more or a vast paragraph. It's hardly some small paragraph, and with the help of this paragraph, you can give the information. So the conclusion is to be drawn, those facts, those problems. Okay, so like when you are writing a conclusion, the conclusion should be properly the fact, the problems, and what type of problems, what type of problems, treatments you have given to that. It is the setup, not the final conclusion. Means what do you mean by conclusion? This was a problem, and that problem's answer, it has been this. So this is what it has been given to the conclusion part. So what? So what in the sense you are giving out, what should the audience do? This means that we must. What do this recommendation means to the audience? This is the part of presentation that your audience carry most about. Try to spend most of your time here. So like when you are saying about, so what is about? So like when the question comes, like what is up? So what? So like give the more times, like what are the internal problems, and discuss each and everything into it. So at least it creates a proper way where you get it, a proper way of decisions and a proper way of information according to that. So it creates a proper way of presentation where you can present yourself into the corrective measures. Restate, that is what the summary which has been said. You can have some other word that is called a restate. Now the summary preferable, it's an actionable term that is called a summary. We use this, we doesn't use summarize, we use in summary. So like it's a wrap up the meeting. So like in the summary, usually what are the points we have discussed. So that point, the thing is, you can just list it out those points into the small sentences. Repeat your critical points, whatever the points are there. At least repeat that, and the summarizing you're giving out. Least action items, some items. List any of the action items like which you faced, and finally you get it up decision that. indicates what happened the next. You need to see like what this was a problem, and finally we step into this thing. Then thank your clients, like thanks for at least for listening out, because what, whenever you're summarizing from where you got a data, so at least you need to thanks to the people. So at least with the help of this, at least they'll be having the good interactions among each and everyone, so that creates a very positive impact relating to this. So at least the people will be having that type of, like, from where you got a data. So this is what the system of re-editing. Tag ending, that is a verbal hook for your audience. In one sentence we say it's generally not done under formal written communication. It's very important in the oral presentation. So usually when formal it has been come, so like usually we perform a professional way, not into the written way, but even the best part of communication, it is what oral way when you're presenting itself. Because what a written, there's a vast difference between when you do the communication with the help of written, second with the help of a oral way. When you do with the help of a written system, so on that time you just express your own expressions, you express all your views and your thoughts and your ideas into the pad. But when you are moving with the help of oral presentation, so in that oral presentation, both the type of communication it has been shown. First with the help of like data updating, second, with the help of interaction with the people, like all the people who are sitting with you and you're explaining those presentation, the front of the, where you're solving those problems, what was the problems, how they interacted, how you summarize, you're thanking to the people, each and everything you're showing. So with this, the presentation shows certain kind of upgradation. So that is the important for it. It's very important in the oral presentation. So usually it's very important. This is not done into the formal written way communication, but usually this is done when oral presentation is given. Key instructions, like a presentation instructions. Now we have already seen like whatever the instructions were there, so that is why you need to follow this type of instruction whenever you're moving into any kind of it, presentation skills when you're using. So this type of it keys you need to use. Time the session. Focus on so what, customize the presentation with logos and the name of their audience. As if I said, just usually focused on the things whatever is going on, and with this at least so what the question it has been there, so that so what things you need to have a proper way of interaction with this. So at least what that, so like use certain logos, certain name into the audience, so at least you can have the questionnaires, so at least you'll be having a good way of communication way, because this is the one part of skills where you can have the communication properly. Then use the graph effectively. Graphics sticks in the people mind, but too much in clusters. Like you keep a graph, like whenever if you're explaining, keep a graph. So at least with the help of this graph, you can highlight those graphs. Keep a clusters, like a group of it, so at least it becomes easy for at least the people who can understand properly. Use the motion spirals and the sound nervous rehearsal. Try to use the same equipment and rooms you will be using. So like usually when you are into the communication certain period of time when you're presenting a project, so like when on that time certain type of it you will start shivering. So to avoid that type of it and to avoid certain kind of it barriers among the communication, better it is if you have done once, again you do the repeat the same presentation in the front of the people or alone and use that type of only the room. So at least it will become what, you can have the good way of interaction amongst each and every people. So that is where these are the key presentation. Now I can give it the bottom line, like final of the communication. I can say a goal of business communication is to create a shared understanding of a business situation that will enable the people to work successful together. So usually a communication is the one part of it where they create a shared information. The goal of a business organization is to create a shared understanding of business situation. So that is why a business communication so like business communication is that part of goal where they share all the views, all ideas together, all informations together, and then afterwards they can take a corrective decisions with the help of togetherness. So this create a situational wise people can take a proper way of decision, they can have a proper way of words together, and with this they can successfully go together. So with this we have completed with the help of the chapter with the help of business communications. So today we have learned with the help of two chapters. First with the help of managerial decision making, second we learned with the help of communication. So these are the two different type of chapters. Now into the managerial decisions we got to know the different, I'll just little bit brush it out to you, so at least it will be convenient at least to understand understand what are the points we have learned today. So when we went with the managerial decision making, we got to know the clear-cut ideas, what are the managements, okay, how the decisions are, certain period of it it's very risky, certain period of it it's very like a prominent way, where smoothly where you can have the interaction. So that is why decision making is very tough for it when you are into the organization. A manager should take a proper way of decision, a relevant way of decision. So it becomes very convenient also to understand, to know about each and every people into the organization. So that is why decision is an important way. So we learn types of different types of decisions, programmable decision, unprogrammable decisions, structured, unstructured, institutions, and proactive, reactive. These are the different type of decisions. So according to it, usually if we are moving with the help of decision, if you are having for programmatic decisions, so programmatic decision it is okay because these decisions are day-to-day one. But when I'm going with unprogrammatic, so on that time it is the certain problems which occurs, and when that problems occurs, you need to take a corrective decision. So for that, at least you're facing a competitive world on that time. So that is why these are the different types of decisions where you're taking on. We learn how the influences of the people, and when you are into the group, individual, if they want to take a decision, how the person takes a decision with the help of influencing or influencing by individual from himself. But second part, when they want to take a decision from the group, when they are into the group, so ultimately the decision differs. So that is why we are performing that type of techniques with the help of this group discussions. So now into the organization, usually we prefer with the help of group discussion. So with the help of this group discussion, we are getting a proper way of ideas, proper way of views, proper way of perceptions of the people who are into the group. We learn with the different three types of techniques, and with the help of that type of techniques, we accept this type of techniques into the individual, where DEFI technique, nominal techniques, brainstorming. So brainstorming is a one type of technique where you are getting the ideas into your brain, and then afterwards you're visualizing those ideas. So that is one type of brain techniques. DELPhi techniques, where questionnaires are there, and with the help of set of questionnaires, you're performing your duties according to that way. Next, nominal group techniques is one type of a technique where a person, you're not having any communicate. The people are sitting together, face-to-face conversation are not there. The face-to-face, the people are sitting, but still the questions, those answers, those views are written into the pad, and finally with the help of that pad, it has been noted to each and every people. It is noted on the board, and with the help of the noted on the board, from this the votings have been done. And from once the votings have been done, whichever is relevant for it, so that relevant it has been acceptable. So that is why these are the one type of techniques.